would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the January 16th, 2020 Board of County Commissioners. On my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. And on my left is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3. And I'm Bill Rippon, and I represent District 1. Good morning.
Morning.
Excellent.
That was good. Wow. They're getting better.
They're trained. They're well trained. Item number 1.
Item 3, consent agenda.
I'd move to approve.
I'll second, but I also would note that it looks like I picked the right color of suit to wear today.
You did.
Blue all the way around.
Very good. That memo made it. Motion's been made by, was it Commissioner Mays?
Yep.
Seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $3,315,832.63. The largest amount out of our vouchers are the allocations that we make to social services. That was for $1,044,979.40. Right behind that, we have our payroll, which was $965,292.76. We have then also through Turnkey. Turnkey is our mobile data terminals, and it's split between county projects and the sheriff's office. That was $307,275. We had the, under building, central mechanical construction for the HAVA replacements at Reynolds Lodge, Garfield Community Center, Gym, Lake Shawnee Recreation Building, and Big Gauge. That was for $147,515. And then finally, our holding accounts for the state of Kansas was $101,546.31. Those make up the majority of the vouchers, and I would move for their approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A3, consider approval of a renewal of tax exemption incentive for economic development for year 10 for U.S. Foods. And again, we have several of the economic development renewals on the agenda today. U.S. Foods this is their 10th year, so I guarantee you that Ms. Greiner is extremely happy about that. This will be the last year. And they have paid their renewal, and they have maintained the positions that they have required, and council reviewed it as well. So I'm recommending that you renew.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A4, consider approval of renewal of a tax exemption incentive for economic development for year 6 for Mars Chocolate North America LLC. This one and the next one are both Mars related, and we do have with us today Mr. Lucky DeFries, who is here to represent in case you have any questions. I keep forgetting to say you. And they, number 4, they have maintained their positions. This is year 6 for the first go around for their economic development, and they have maintained those positions plus. So we, as Councilor's Office, reviewed it, and and they met all the criteria, so recommending renewal.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
And A5, consider approval of a renewal of tax exemption incentive for economic development for year 3 for Mars Wrigley Confectionery U.S. LLC. And that as well, they maintained their 70 full-time positions and have paid their renewal fee. The counselor's office looked it over, and our recommendation is to approve.
I would move we approve.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to solicit bids for printing 3 issues of the guide, summer 2020, fall 2020, and winter, spring of 2021.
Morning, Mike McLaughlin, Parks and Recreation. This is the annual bid to print the 3 issues of the guide, as the clerk just explained. We distribute this to about 17,000 people in the community. Parks and Recreation magazine nationally did a survey and has an article in the magazine this month that shows that the guide is the number 2 source of information for the public behind social media.
I'll make a motion for the request.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Mike. Next item.
Item B2, consider approval of request to utilize the on-call emergency wastewater collection system repair services contract number C-273-2019 with MCON, Inc. for the stormwater drainage pipe repairs at Gage Park at a cost not to exceed $25,000 with funding from the 2019 contingency funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Boyd, Parks and Recreation. If you recall, this is actually to repair the storm drain that's creating the sinkhole out at Gage Park by the carousel. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Timeline for construction?
Upon approval, potentially 1 to 2 weeks. They don't anticipate having any issues as far as special order parts or anything like that, so they should be able to turn it around pretty quickly.
Do we make a determination whether or not we would have to do anything with the carousel or relocate the carousel in order to get to the stream?
At this point in time, we anticipate just creating a junction box where the sinkhole is, so that down the road, if we have issues with that pipe, it has been cambered and it is intact so far under the carousel, so we don't have an issue there. But we're gonna put a box there so that we have a starting place if we do need to, and that'll give us a chance to plan it out and be able to route it around the carousel.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Next item.
Item C, Public Works. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for qualifications for professional design services necessary to replace the Northwest Glick Road Bridge over Ensign's Creek with funding from the half-cent sales tax for bridges.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Here last week or a week before, I came before you with a request to build our first bridge for 2021. And now I'm here before you requesting approval to bring on a consultant for the ultimate goal of building a second bridge in 2021. That bridge is located on the screen. You have the city of Silver Lake. You have US 24, and our bridge project is right there. Glick Road over Ensign Creek.
Can you show me that again?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll show it on this screen if I can. It doesn't show up very well. 24, Silver Lake, the Oxbow Lake that Silver Lake's known for, and that there's our bridge project right there.
All right, thank you.
This bridge is functionally obsolete, and I think you can see why. It's really only wide enough for one lane. It's also structurally obsolete. This gives you an impression of the type of bridge. It's 40 feet long, a simple span. And like the bridge that we talked about here last week or the week before, it's an I-girder bridge, but it's complete. They're completely, the girders, the 4 girders are completely encased in concrete, unlike the last one where the bottom flange was exposed. But nevertheless, even though it's fully encased in concrete, it does have some structural problems. And that is the main reason it needs to be replaced. So please accept my request to bring on a consultant to design a replacement, which will take place in 2021.
Any
Questions?
I would move that we approve.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Nays, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item C2, consider approval of request number 2020, resolution number 2020-4, authorizing the transfer of unobligated 2019 Public Works funds not to exceed $2,211,628.75 to the Special Bridge Fund, Special Machinery Fund, and Special Highway Fund.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. This is my annual request to transfer unobligated 2019 Public Works general funds into the Special Bridge, Special Machinery, and Special Highway Improvement Fund. These funds are an important component of what we can do. For example, in 2020, we can use that money to buy equipment. We can use that money to replace bridges, and we can use that money to help us do road improvements such as the upcoming project on Southeast 45th Street. Questions?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item C3, consider approval of request for a project budget, Main Sewer District Number 87, Lateral District Number 3, of $19,200 for a developer project, installation of sanitary sewer lines to serve the lots within Sherwood Village subdivision, utilizing 100% developer fees, and authorization and execution of contract C13-2020 with Schmidt, Beck, and Boyd Engineering, LLC, for construction engineering services as previously authorized by Resolution 2019-95, Section 4.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. What you see on the screen is a plat for Sherwood Village. This subdivision is within the city of Topeka, so the city of Topeka will be involved in the construction of the freshwater lines, the streets, stormwater drainage. But Sherwood Village will also tie into the Sherwood treatment plant system, so that's where Shawnee County comes in. Back in December of last year, Bond Council got a resolution approved which created District 3 of Shawnee County Main Sewer District 87. And with that, that set things in motion whereby the developer has paid connection fees, and those fees have been deposited in our Sherwood account 2690. They've paid a 1% administrative fee, and that 1% is based on an approved construction cost, and that money has gone back into the county's general fund. And they have paid a construction engineering fee, which by home rule resolution is 12% of the approved construction cost. And that construction engineering fee goes into essentially an account which is in your packet of information, and it amounts to $19,200, and those monies will be used for construction inspection. And so then I'm asking for approval of a contract with Schmidt, Beckett, and Boyd to perform those inspections. And again, all this money is developer provided. There are no county funds involved. The $19,200 essentially, we're just holding those funds temporarily, and they will be paid back to the consultant who was selected by the developer. Questions?
I'll move that we approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, County Councilor number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C14-2020 with the Sherwood Improvement District to provide additional law enforcement services to the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office Interim Deputy Program.
Good morning.
Intermittent Deputy Program.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Councilor. This is essentially a renewal of a long-standing agreement between the Sheriff's Office and the Sherwood Improvement District. The prior agreement expires at any point in time. This would be the replacement agreement for that. Really, the only changes are they have increased the compensation to the Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff is planning on opening, I don't know what the name of it is, but they are opening a Southwest County substation in the Sherwood Improvement District.
They are also changing the personnel that they're using for this program. They used to use a reserve deputy program. They're going to use an intermittent deputy program in the area. The agreement has already been signed by the Improvement District and Sheriff Hill, and we're just seeking approval by the BCC today of it, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Jim, can you tell us why this is coming through the counselor's office, just for formality, as opposed through the sheriff's office or any other entity?
I work with both entities. They asked me if I could bring it before the Board of County Commissioners, and I agreed to do so. It could have come from the sheriff's office. This form of the agreement was originally approved by the Attorney General's office as an interlocal agreement. We've kept the same form throughout. I'm assuming, that's my guess as to why the Board of County Commissioners even signs off on it, is through a recommendation through that office.
And then, can you address, or maybe, I don't know, Ms. Greiner or the sheriff's office representative, what's the budgetary impact of changing this and going in this route as opposed to what we've been doing in the past?
It is the same route. It is, we're doing the exact same. The Sherwood Improvement District is paying a monthly fee to the sheriff's office for the services they provide. The only change is they are increasing that fee to cover the additional costs for the new substation.
And then those are covered by the Sherwood Improvement District and not the taxpayers of Shawnee County?
Correct.
Well, they are Shawnee County taxpayers, but not all of the taxpayers.
Legally, the improvement district is basically like its own municipality. And so they are asking for additional services over and above what other county taxpayers are receiving in the unincorporated area of Shawnee County.
I would move that we approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item E, Sheriff's Office, number 1, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Hill regarding the renewal of agreement, contract C-15-2020, between the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office and the Secretary of Transportation, KDOT, to award step grants to fund overtime-only enforcement campaigns in the Special Traffic Enforcement Program in an annual amount of $3,500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Danny Lottridge, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. This is just an ongoing participation that we've had in the past with this grant provided by KDOT. We would like to continue moving forward with this grant for the next 3 years, so.
Any questions?
No.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item E2, consider approval of request to fill the vacant radio network administrator position in the Communications Division at $29.10 hourly with funding from the Sheriff's budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Melanie Burgers, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office Communications Division. We have a vacant radio network administrator in the radio shop of the Communications Division. We have found an applicant that is able to fill that position. He has more than 20 years' experience in the Osage County Sheriff's Office, which is run much like the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. He started as a frontline 911 dispatcher, has experience behind the console, so to speak, on that side of the radio, has experience programming radios is charged with their infrastructure, also works with their contract negotiations as well. Historically, this has been a difficult position to fill. Because of his experience and expertise that he brings, we would like to start him at step 3 on the pay scale at $29.10 hourly, which would require your approval.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F, Commission, number 1, consider canceling the March 12th Commission meeting.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F2, reflect that Commissioner Cook is appointing Duncan Whittier to the Stormont Vale Event Center Advisory Board for a term expiring 12/31/21.
This is filling the unexpired term of Spencer Duncan. With the election of Mr. Duncan to the city council, he is stepping down as my appointee to the Stormont Vale Event Center. I would move for approval to appoint Duncan Whittier to that spot. Duncan is an attorney here in Topeka and formerly served as an administrative law judge located in Topeka, so I would move for his approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F3, reflect that Commissioner Mays is appointing Bruce Graham to the Stormont Vale Event Center Advisory Board for a 3-year term ending 12/31/22.
This is to fulfill the expiring term of Sandy Griffith, and Bruce is the retiring CEO of the Kansas Electric Cooperatives, and I think would be a real asset to the board, so I would move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F4, consider appointment of Patty Brown to the Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging Board of Directors for a term expiring 9/30/21.
Patty is, she's been a lifetime RN, and she's also worked for the state in working with licensing of elderly facilities, so I think she's a great fit for this position. So,
I'll move for second.
yeah, that was a motion, yes. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F5, consider appointment of Todd Blackington, representing University of Kansas St. Francis Campus, to the Ambulance Advisory Board to serve the unexpired term of Paul Evans with the term ending 6/11/21.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Administrative Communications.
All right, this time we'll, come on up, Kellen. At this time, I ask anyone to talk about any subject, and Kellen's first.
Sorry to cut you off there.
That's all right.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectre Vending Management, Stormont Vale Event Center. This week, we announced a concert that we have coming up in April. That concert is Casting Crowns Only Jesus Tour with Matthew West. That's going to be on April 21st. We announced that on Monday, and it goes on sale tomorrow. So pre-sale has started yesterday, so looking forward to that one. We have 2 more event announcements coming up, one on Monday of next week and one on Monday the week following. One of those is a live sporting event, and the other is a additional concert that we'll have coming up this summer. We do have WWE coming into the facility on Sunday of this weekend, so looking forward to all of our Shawnee County patrons coming out and enjoying some of that. And then Pilots Hockey also returns this weekend, starting back tomorrow and Saturday. And finally, we'd love to welcome Mr. Whittier and Mr. Graham to our advisory board. Looking forward to getting them on board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cindy Evans with Shawnee County Extension. January is Radon Action Month, and I have been associated with this cancer-causing gas for 22 years of my career. I have brought you information about testing your home, and I'll share just a little bit more info on this. Somebody's booklet here. Tracked by zip code, should you choose to use those. This is a map of the county. radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer after tobacco smoke. And up until the mid-1980s, the EPA believed that it was kind of a lifestyle choice. If you want to be a miner and you work in a situation underground, you're going to likely die of lung cancer at twice the rate of people who did not work in that kind of a profession. But Stanley Watrous is kind of the poster child for radon education. He was working at a facility, a nuclear facility, and they happened to be installing a new detection device. And he set off the alarm as he was going out. They thought it was the detection system, but he set off the alarm the next day when he came into work. So they followed this glowing man home and found out that his home tested 4,000 picocuries per liter, and the acceptable level in the United States would be under 4 picocuries per liter. So I would tell you that radon is coming from a breakdown of uranium, deep in the soil, breaks down from uranium to radium, then to the gas radon, and that it is a naturally occurring element in our environment. You probably aren't going to get to a zero, but in a healthy environment, the indoor air will average about a 1.3. The outdoor air averages about a 0.3. So we encourage everybody to use a detection kit like this to test the lowest finished or finishable level of your home, a place where you spend significant time. And so we're looking at some place where you spend 8 hours a day. Most people will test a bedroom, but if all of your bedrooms are on the first floor and you've got a finished basement, don't go down there much. Although it may not affect you if you sell that home in a real estate transaction, they would test the lowest finished or finishable level because the people after you might choose to have somebody sleeping in that basement. And I would liken the radon breakdown to just like a spark of energy. We breathe in air, and as we exhale, most of the radon that we would inhale, we exhale right away. But the more concentrated the radon is in the air, the more sparks of energy that go off inside our lungs and hit the living tissue. So over a long period of time, 20 years is what we're talking about, 20 years or longer, with that exposure, it will increase your risk of lung cancer. The booklet that I gave you that we have at the office that is free for anybody, towards the back has a chart that will tell, it's on page 15, that will tell you what your chances are for getting lung cancer if you are a non-tobacco user. It increases exponentially if you are a tobacco user. But then it compares it to other hazards that we worry about, like drowning or being in a car accident. And so I would tell you that in the early years of my career, the KDHE's Radiation Bureau was very concerned with this issue, and so they placed the Kansas Radon Program with K-State Research and Extension. Extension Service across the country does education on this topic because when there are big issues that they want education to help resolve the problem, people know that Extension has a nationwide educational network. And so that's how I got involved in that programming at the time. The chart that I gave you, and they're getting ready to update it again, will show you that in Shawnee County, we've had just over 9,100 measurements, that the average is a 4.8 and the action level is a 4, that the number of measurements over a 4 have been around, I'm going to say around 3,600, and those over a 20 are 188. I will tell you that this would say that our rate of a high results about 1 in 3, but it really is more like 1 in 4, because after somebody's had a high result, we encourage them to retest that same location. So you're going to get some locations that get tested high twice. So that's going to skew those numbers, just a little bit. But I would encourage you to test your home. I encourage anybody in Shawnee County to test their home. We have distributed thousands of these kits since the 1990s, late 1990s, and that the only way to find out if your home tests high is to test because you can't see, taste, or smell radon. Do you have any questions for me?
Are there certain geographic areas that are worse than others in terms of like elevation? Are low-lying areas worse than elevated areas, or water sources
Across the country, there absolutely is. You actually, if you Google radon map, you will find the geological studies that they did back in the 1980s. So if you get someplace like Pennsylvania and Virginia, you're going to find their average indoor air is about a 17 or higher, where because of our geology here in Kansas, ours tends to be lower. But they have it by regions, and we are a Region 3, and right across the north part of the state, us, Riley County, going across the north there, is kind of a band that, because of the soil composition there, you're more likely to get a higher radon test. But even in that, about 1 in 15 homes in the country, about 1 in 4 homes in Kansas. So I'm not trying to alarm anyone, 75% chance it's not you, but if it is you, that exposure, really can lead to a health hazard. The average mitigation cost is around $1,500 to $2,000. And years ago, when I first started getting the grants to do this work, we received about $25,000 in the first 5 or 6 years to do a lot of educational programs. Somebody in my class said to me, I spent more than that on the front door. And I think it kind of put it in perspective that a lot of times people don't want to pay, to do a repair, but this really is something that could cost your health if you have a high level in your environment.
Radon gas in a basement, does it tend to hover towards the floor, or is it just all over the whole room, or how?
It dissipates as it goes higher, so we don't even test floors that are above second level. So it's coming from the soil. So the most likely place is if people have an open sump pump. And honestly, plumbing fixtures, years ago, before we knew of this hazard and the need to kind of seal up homes a little bit better, if somebody dug a hole in the wall for a plumbing pipe, put a shower stall in, they pretty much just kind of left it open, around that pipe. You might have, 1.5 inches or 2 inches around that. Now, with radon-resistant new construction, they'll be trying to seal those things up. But even at that, radon can move through a cinder block wall. And I sat through these radon trainings. I am not a contractor, but I sat through them so I could try to hear what they were saying. And the going joke was, well, if I've got a concrete, is concrete a better barrier? And the joke was, there's 2 kinds of concrete. Concrete that's cracked and concrete that's going to crack. So just trying to use caulk to seal that up would not be enough. A mitigation system, if you don't already have an existing sump pump, they will cut a hole about the size of a 5-gallon bucket and dig out into an area there, and then put a pump there. There's typically 4 to 6 inches of pea gravel or sand beneath most homes, and they put suction there, and I just called a low drawing fan. It's a special fan. It does not cycle on and off like air conditioners do. It puts suction on the soil. It draws the radon through that porous level of sand or pea gravel to that location, then vents it through the roof. There are guidelines on that, because a lot of people say, I can do this myself. I'm going to shoot it out the side of the house like the dryer vent is. Well, if it's 10 when I measure it, and then I start sucking it to one location, I might be venting hundreds or thousands of picocuries out the window, and we don't want to have a window right above that where it's coming back into the house. Anybody else have a question?
Very interesting.
Okay, thank you very much. People can get kits at our office.
Anyone else? Commissioner Cook?
No meeting on Monday with a holiday, I believe. And then I understand that we have a luncheon this afternoon.
That is correct. We have the chamber, their annual meeting, and I suppose we'll all be there. Also, yesterday, we had a welcome for state legislators, and we were all in attendance for that. Got to meet our local elected officials down at the State House. Also, tomorrow, John Wellborn will be retiring, and that'll be from 11 to 2. So if you've worked with John Wellborn in the past, might stop in and say goodbye. Aaron?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from you. We do have a need for an executive session, so I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 20 minutes to discuss one item. That item will be to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, specifically to discuss personnel policy regarding the filling of existing and new positions. No action is expected at this time, and we are now in executive session.
Second. I have a second. Do I have a second? and a
those who have remained, we're back in session. No action taken at this time, so we're adjourned.
Cindy, was there anything for
I
us
don't
to
think I
sign?
have
So that's one thing.
No, they're just for the chairman,
Okay.
except that one you had there. And